In this episode of Week to Wicked, we purchased this 1972 Camaro stalled project car and are planning to transform it into a Resto Mod Pro Touring monster. Once we get the car back up to a restored state, our build team will have industry-leading parts and a total of 7 days to complete this build at our 10 Tech Center. We'll put the completed car to the test as we drive it out to Holly LS Fest West in Las Vegas, Nevada, and put it on the autocross, road course, and drag strip. This is Super Chevy Magazine's Week to Wicked, presented by Classic Performance Products.
Well, it's day one to Week to Wicked, and we have taken 1 day out of our 7 already to get this car back to a restorational state. Meaning, we've done all the interior, we've done the glass. Christian, you did some stuff.
Yeah, door panels, all the side glass, door handles, all that fun stuff.
And the guys from CPP came in and they widened the rear wheel tub so we can get that bigger Falcon tire on there. And I want to get this thing out on the road and just see kind of how it feels. It's all stock, so I want to see how the suspension is, braking, steering. I mean, it's probably gonna be way underpowered from what I'm used to, so I'd like to see what that's about, and training too. Let's see how it shifts. And then we'll get this thing back in here and start ripping into it. Still doesn't burn out.
Yeah! Look at that, man.
Well, I think that just ended our day of driving. Why is this antifreeze so black? What blue? There's our problem. Yeah, we need to plug that up. We're not going to be able to drive it. All right, Christian's here.
Just gonna do a quick little roadside change. I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with this. A lot of you hot rodders out there.
Well, it certainly doesn't ride that bad.
No, not too shabby.
I know we certainly complement the brake, steering, and suspension with the CPP stuff for sure.
Oh yeah, man, definitely.
I mean, the steering on this thing kind of lags, so I know they'll have a different box with a tighter turning ratio, so that will make it nice.
Stick to first gear. Oh, there it is. Yeah! Got it shift. Nice.
Oh, I'm running out of gas. Pretty sure I'm running out of gas.
Oh no.
Well, first a blown radiator hose. Now we're out of gas. That's one of the things we're going to upgrade in this is wiring and gauges, because the gauges aren't working right. Some of the wiring's not working right, so get some of those Dakota Digital gauges in there and painless wiring, and we should be back on the road. But first, we need gas.
That's when I'll get you some.
Christian! All right, so it's about time we got this car up in the air and started tearing it apart. First step, let's get the hood off. And from there, we'll get the car up in the air. We'll start pulling the suspension out. Our plan today really is to get all the suspension out, brakes, suspension, steering, engine, trans, so the drivetrain's gone, and then install the new suspension components. And if we can do that by the end of the day, I think we're on track for a good Tuesday.
All right, we got all the parts torn out of this gold Camaro. They're all over there. All the new parts are here for the steering, the brakes, the suspension. That's where CPP comes in, and we have Danny Nix here. Tell us about all these parts. There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of parts, yeah. Starting at the back, we have the CPP 9-inch rear axle setup. It's got a big brake kit on it, pre-bent hardline setup, stainless steel hose upgrades. Right next to that, we're going to set up the narrow leaf springs. We have our traction bar,
Now, the
subframe
narrow leaf springs are important because we're going to be we got a 315 tire going back there.
Yeah, we got those Falcon 315s. They're going to fit along with the narrow leaf spring and the little wide wheel modification we did earlier in the wheel tubs.
All right.
We got double adjustable rear shocks. We have an adjustable rear sway bar. As we move forward here, we got the hydraulic booster, the Hydro-Stop setup. Our CPP steering box is a 500 series box, 14:1 ratio.
14:1, that's a good ratio.
Yeah, and you mentioned about the vague steering earlier.
Yeah,
we're talking.
Camaro did not steer.
This is going to steer really well. A lot of feedback and feel on this. New intermediate steering shaft, U-joints, string linkage kit, all the new pieces in the steering, all the wear items are going to be replaced. Idler arm, the center link, the inner and outer tie rods. The front sway bar is a hollow 1 3/8. It's a real big bar, but it's hollow, so it's very strong but lightweight. Double adjustable coil levers for the front springs and shocks. Those are 550-pound springs. So you can put this on the car on the track. It's going to be ready to go on the track, pretty firm. C7 style hub and the Corvette spindle. A 13-inch front brake kit. Tubular upper and lower control arm.
Well, like I said, I can't wait to get all these parts on the car because that's going to go a long ways to getting this thing out on track where it belongs. And so let's get busy and finish this up.
Let's get it done.
All right.
All right, so we're wrapping up day one, got about an hour left. CPP suspension, front and rear is just about done. Tomorrow we're gonna come in, install the engine and trans, start the brake lines, finish the plumbing on the fuel system, and go from there. All right, so it's day two of our Week to Wicked build on our Camaro, and we stayed late last night. We got all the suspension, steering, and brakes installed, so we're good there. Today, we are gonna get the engine trans in. That way we can measure for a drive shaft. From there, we're gonna get all the brake lines done, get the fuel tank in, get that plumbing finished up, and I think we'd be pretty good for the end of the day if we can get all that done.
All right, we're just back from the Falcon warehouse, and we have their brand new RT615K Plus. The Plus here on the sticker says it's fast. This is a new revised tread compound they got. So these are hot off the press, literally, and ready to go on to our 72 Camaro and give us an advantage of the guys on the older tires or on the other tires. So let's get this thing going.
Cool, so Carlos just got here from American Legend. Let's see what he brought us. Perfect. What's up, Carlos?
What's going on, bud?
See what you got.
Oh, got some beautiful wheels for you, man.
All right.
Check these bad boys out.
Oh, wow, those came out nice.
Isn't it?
Yeah, so what are these, 18s?
Yeah, they're 18s, 18 by 11s, and 18 by 9s.
What are the two finishes we did?
We did a texture gray center with polished accents on it,
Awesome.
just to pretty much add up with the paint of the car, the scheme that you guys have going on.
Well, I think that's exactly what we were looking for when we talked about.
I think so.
Awesome, man.
I think so.
We gotta get things mounted up and put on the car.
Yeah, most definitely.
Perfect.
All right, well, it's time to hit the fuel system into this Camaro. And what we got here is a complete fuel system from Holley. Nice stuff. It all comes ready to go and is everything we need to get it into the car. So yeah, that's basically our fuel system. This is going to pair up nicely with the Holley Terminator Stealth EFI system up front, which makes the entire system Holley. And so it makes it just easy because you know everything's going to fit and work together. And it's going to get this car out on the road, on the track where it belongs, and having some fun.
There we go. The stock clamps, I left all the bolts in. All right, I'm just gonna finish balancing this last wheel and tire, and we'll get them installed on the car.
My name's Christian Arriero, and I'm a technician at the Tech Center. Been here for about 2 years, but been working on cars, for about 7 years. My most favorite part is learning new things. Since I'm more into the Mopars, you know, I've been around Chevy trucks and more Camaros, even Fords. So learning about that, it excites me even more to later down the future I can actually do something with them. So that's the most exciting part, I think, is learning.
Well, obviously, no complete build is done without an engine.
Nope, you need an engine or it's just art
And
sitting there in your driveway.
personally, one of my favorite engines is the LS.
Yeah, you know, we get hassled a lot about LS engines, you know, oh, it's another LS, but for the bang for the buck, it's really hard to beat. It's an all aluminum small block, you know, hydraulic
LS3?
roller. Yeah, this is the LS 376 515. I don't know why they call it that, because it specs out at 533 horsepower from GM. This engine came from Scoggin-Diggy Parts Center in Lubbock, Texas. They sent this on over. It's a Chevrolet Performance Crate engine, like they said. It came with some parts on it. It came with a carbureted intake already and stuff, but we wanted to run this new Holley unit, so we switched over to a Holley single plane intake manifold.
Yep. Tell us a little bit about, not a carburetor, it is
Not a
fuel
carburetor.
injection.
No, it's not a carburetor, but it's made to look like one. It's the Holley Terminator EFI Stealth. So the stealth being the fact that it looks like a carburetor.
Sure.
4 fuel injectors located in what would be carb bowls if this was a carburetor. Still set up, 4150 flange on the bottom, standard Holley linkage on the side. This is a really easy swap for someone to make who has a carburetor, because you're just basically adding the electronics
Sure.
and bolting this in place.
Wiring in a computer.
Yep. Yeah, it runs off a Holley ECU that can mount anywhere, in the engine bay, out of the engine bay, under the dash. It's not too terribly big, so it's easy to hide. And then programming, in case you're curious, is all done through a small handheld. So working the handheld, it's a self-learning unit, so it learns the tune itself, although you can hook it up to a laptop. They have
Really
a provision,
fine-tune it.
Yeah, they have a provision for software for using a laptop to dyno tune it on a chassis dyno and really get it dialed in if you need, you know, for special
You want to go through all the
circumstances.
parameters and really set your fuel curve. And
Yeah, and do a lot of different things.
Yep.
So it's a nice compact unit. And then when it goes in the car, it's going to have Eddy Motorsports, a drive system here on the front to run, you know, the alternator,
accessories,
all the accessories, which means we'll ditch this in favor of their unit and stuff like that. But for the dyno, that's a good unit to run.
And from there, we also went to a taller valve cover by Holley, which already has the bosses for your coils.
Right.
Running E3 coils, wires, and plugs. And then to finish it off, we used a Holley pan. It just makes it much easier for cars with cross members and, you know,
The pan,
clearance issues.
Yeah, I call it the F-body pan because it's like it's real thin at the front, like a 4th gen Camaro F-body. It clears everything. If this won't fit in your car with this pan,
Sure.
probably. I don't know how you can make the pan any smaller. The headers we're going to be running are the Hooker Super Comp stainless LS swap headers for 2nd gen Camaro.
They're actually nice.
They are very nice. In fact, we're going to be using the ones at West Tech. We're going to be using their headers instead of these because they're all beat up and they're used to be on the dyno, but they're the same exact headers. So we'll be able to get a real accurate power number when we run it on the dyno.
Well, speaking of West Tech, why don't we get this thing out there and see what a dyno's at?
Yeah, I'm dying to try it. All right, we're here today at West Tech Performance, dyno testing our Week-to-Wicked Scoggin-Diggy crate engine. We hooked it up on the Superflow 902. We ran it NA first, so our first tests were just naturally aspirated, did some runs to get the tuning for the self-learning system, made some adjustments with the computer, ended up hitting 540 horsepower with it pretty consistently, so it was done. Then we went to the nitrous system, NOS cheater system, and put some small jets in there. I asked Steve Burley, he said it was a little over 100. It was a little more than a little over 100. We ended up making the first pull with the nitrous 674 horsepower. That's about 130 plus more than our base pulls. Steve came in, made a little adjustment to the fuel, made 698.9 horsepower. I call that close enough to 700. He said there was still some more tuning he could do, that he could get it over 7. But with nitrous, you put bigger jets in, you can get whatever you want. 700 horsepower from this engine is cool. Can't wait to get this into our Camaro and hit the road, because it's going to be badass and it's going to be fun.
Let's just get it over here in case it falls. Needs to come towards me a little. All right, so it's the end of day 2, dropping the motor in, so pretty exciting. One of the things we switched out from the stock rubber mounts is to an energy suspension. It's a polyurethane mount, a little stiffer, more rigid, should complement the motor and the drivetrain quite a bit. And hopefully we're gonna stick around tonight. Once this motor's in, get the transmission in, measure for a drive shaft. That way when we come in tomorrow, we got a radiator put in, so tune in tomorrow and see where we're at. Well, it's day 3. Last night we stayed late and finished up the whole drivetrain. The Performance Automatic 4L70 actually fit perfect. Flex plate mounted right up to the torque converter, so that was a real cool thing. Putting it in is actually pretty easy. We actually had the headers on the car. We slid the tranny through the center with our tranny jack, got a couple bolts onto the LS3, and then once we did that, we pulled it up in the rear, got the cross member from Holley in there. That was easy. A couple things I have left are the torque converter bolts, and I already have all the lines ran up to the front of the car for the cooler. Just got to bolt the cooler in and we're done there. From there, we got Jeff here from Painless Wiring. He's got a whole lot of wiring from the inside to the outside to all over the car. So got to get that going. I want to mount the radiator, the fans, and get all the plumbing going for there. And well, let's get day 3 going. All right, so the last thing I had to do for the Performance Automatic trans was set up the trans cooler. So I set it here in front of the core support. That way you're gonna get plenty of airflow coming through there to cool the trans. What I did is made some spacers just to get it away from the radiator. All I have now is my push lock. I'm gonna use some 90s, one there, one there. There'll be a clean installation. The tubes come up through the wheel wells and then behind the core support. That way you don't even see any of the hoses. We're ready to go.
My name is Jeff Abbott. I work for Painless Performance Products. I've been with the company for probably about 13 years. My title is engineering manager. So what I do is I oversee what the new products are that we're going to design, and I also get into designing them as well. I'm definitely a gearhead. I love cars or trucks or off-road vehicles or mud or whatever. Crawling up rocks with a Jeep, it's a lot of fun to me, or high horsepower stuff like we're playing with. You know, I love all of our customers. They're great people. They're gearheads. They want their car driving down the highway, but a lot of very frustrated people call us at Painless on our 800 number, and their biggest issue is the fact that they just haven't read the instructions at all. Like for example, on this Camaro that we're building this week, the manual is set up step by step by step on the order that you really should install the product. So that's what I would recommend.
All right, so it's about time we get the radiator in there. We're using the Holley Frostbite radiator. One thing I did with the radiator is I put the Durelli fans on there. As you can see, the Durelli fans are pretty big. I like them because they're very efficient, and but the motors on them are pretty big. That's what gives it that extra space in here. But since we have the Eddie Motorsport S-Drive system on there, it's so compact, it gives us plenty of room to install both the fans and the Frostbite radiator. So let's try to install that. Let's see how much room we got. I'm sure we're gonna have plenty, but let's check. Let's get that down in there centered. Pull that back. I mean, we could almost put another S-Drive system in there, I guess. We got plenty of room there. The fans fit around the CPP steering box. So with that in there, we got our top plate with the isolators on there. We'll set all that in there. Then we'll screw it down.
Hey, you made it.
Hey, Steve.
More or less.
How's it going?
I guess you brought us a hood.
Yeah.
It smelled.
Yeah.
I could smell paint from
Good to
here.
see you. It's kind of fresh, yeah.
It's kind of fresh.
Yeah, I came out of the booth at 9.
At 9 this morning?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, so that's like 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
Oh, well, all kinds of time.
Yeah. Sure, no problem.
I got to bake in the sun on the drive up.
Okay, so that's good. So I guess we won't be color sanding it this week, huh?
No,
No.
at least a week, yeah.
At least a week. Okay,
There's
well,
quite a
you
bit
know,
of clear on
hey,
it.
when you're on a week time schedule, that's what you end up doing.
Yep.
So hey, guys are here from Best of Show. They brought us our hood. As you might recall, our car had the lovely 4-inch cowl hood on it, fiberglass that did not fit the car at all. Oh, and the truck, 2017 Chevy 3500 dually. It can tow 24,000 pounds. I think it's big enough to move a hood. Yep. But Chevrolet was nice enough to loan us this truck for the week. So big thanks to them, because this would have been hard to fit in our regular cars. So thanks to Chevrolet, and thanks to Best of Show for getting our hood painted. And like I said, let's get it out and get it on our Camaro. Oh, never mind.
Hi, my name is John Gilbert. I'm a tech editor for the Street Rod Group and the Super Chevy Network. I've been around since the, just the magazine days. We do our photos and write our stories. And they said, well, you guys are going to have to do Facebook Live. And I thought, well, okay. I put it off for about 4 months. And then I thought, well, what the heck, I'll give it a shot. And I've probably done about 150 programs now. A little while ago, I finally showed my face. Usually people ask, and again, people's kids are watching. You don't want to give the poor little guys and gals, nightmares. So anyways, I'm just an old man drives an old truck. Second chance, man. This thing is, you know what? I would never was too big.
Well, it's day 4, and we're still going at it. Bunch of wiring still under the hood. We got Jeff here from Painless, and he's going crazy down here. He's got a lot going on. He's got a lot finished up. It's just kind of roughing everything in. We're gonna make sure this car starts up, and we'll make everything real pretty. After that, I'm hoping to get this thing up on a lift, maybe start the exhaust today, get the steering column in. But you know what? Before we can do that, we got to get back to work. And there was a little note here, and I wanted to see what it said. It said something like, "No touch, or Jeff will kill you." Not kidding. So we'll leave that where it is and get to work.
So I'm Danny Nix. I'm the engineer over at Classic Performance Products, CPP. Some of the stuff that I really enjoy about doing these builds is the hands-on. Honestly, in my role as being the engineer at CPP, I'm really more hands-off than I want to be. I want to be under the car, building it, putting it together. I want to be running the wire, making the welds, making the parts happen. But it's not really my role. I'm designing the parts, and I'm generally handing this off to our welders and our fab guys. So this is really great for me. It's a cool experience.
Does he ever get frustrated during the build?
Who doesn't get frustrated during a build? We went ahead and hammered it flat with a couple. The camera's going. And of course you get frustrated. So you just eyes on the prize, so to say, just focus on the car and not on the frustration.
When upgrading your classic car to LED taillights, one of the things you will need to change is the original flasher will need to be changed to an LED optimized flasher. The reason for that is that the LEDs are so efficient they don't draw enough current to trip the original thermal mechanical flasher. When you're doing the change, be sure to get an LED optimized flasher and resist the temptation to use load resistors. Your LED taillights have less current, thus less drain on your electrical system, so do not use load resistors to take the place of getting a proper electronic flasher. So now I'm going to finish the installation of these United Pacific LED taillights in the 72 Camaro. We'll put the flasher in the painless wiring harness and button it up for the night.
I'm Nick Licata. I'm the editor of Chevy High Performance, and I've been here for about 14 years. My role this week with Week to Wicked is to just be here for support, shoot photos, and help out wherever I can. What we hope to do is have our 1971 Camaro called Project Orange Crate. It's been an ongoing project. It's my car. It's similar in color. Mine's a 71, that's a 72. There's not much difference there, but we have different suspension components. That kind of car was built in a week. My car was built in a matter of years, so hopefully I have a little bit of an edge. but it's good to bust each other up a little bit about, you know, what car can beat whose car and what driver is better than what driver, and it's a good friendly competition, and but he won't get close to me. I'll kick his ass.
When Nicky boy thought he'd be all sweet and apologize, but nope, I'm gonna be nice now. Honestly, Nick's a good driver. He can, he's got a car that's built to race. Us, on the other hand, we got a car that will be very competitive on the track, but it's also meant to drive on the street and be comfortable. So,
can you tell us a little bit about your background in driving for the magazines?
Well, it started out with Dell Jr. and I when we grew up together in North Carolina. Pa, better known as Dell Sr., used to teach us a lot.
So I went to some driving schools. I went to the Bondurant School in Arizona. Jason and I both went, so we both have about the same amount of training, and we probably have about the same amount of seat time as well.
Nick and I have had a lot of fun doing testing, and I think we've always had a bit of a competitive edge, especially in the slalom. Nevertheless, it's a little competitive thing we have together. All right, so it's day 5. We stayed late last night. We got the hooker exhaust finished up. We got the Inland Empire drive shaft in. And we got a ton of wiring still to do. No, not really. We're almost done with the wiring. Jeff's here from Painless. He's got a couple things to wrap up. Steering column to put in, some interior pieces to get in there. And guess what? We're doing a burnout today. I guarantee it. Can't wait. So let's get this going. Let's get started.
What we have is an I Did It. It's a direct fit tilt column for our Camaro. So it's made for this unit, easy to install, direct fit for our Camaro, no problems.
My name is Jim Reese with Classic Performance Products. I'm the president and CEO. Classic Performance Products specializes primarily in steering, brakes, and suspension parts. We also sell a lot of the other associated items, some subframe connectors, all different types of related stuff. Yeah, it's really great for these guys to be involved because Luis, Mike, of course our engineer Danny Nix, we work on all these projects in a similar way in the shop, but typically we're just isolated on either developing a product or doing an installation for, say, an instruction sheet. But to be able to come here and actually participate from start to finish is super exciting for them.
Oh, it's the greatest thing. I mean, knowing new people and getting, the chance, the opportunity to be here, and it's just great for me. It means a lot. It means a lot to me.
Let's leave it a run. We're done there, buddy.
Awesome.
That's the earliest we've ever had a car fire up.
Yep. It is.
On a Friday.
It's a record, isn't it?
It's daylight outside.
Is it Saturday?
Yeah.
Did you miss your flight?
No, not yet.
Here we got our new Dakota digital gauges that are direct fit into the Camaro, and these are for 70 through 81 Camaro. And as you can see, there's one plug connector here, which is this one. You connect it, that's it. No more crazy wires coming out of here. So if you want to loosen up your steering column, now you've got to finesse your way in here. It's fairly easy. As you can see, I'm not struggling. All right, now let's get the screws on there.
All right, guys, we're getting really close to the end of this project. We're in the last items that go in. Most important items, seats. Without seats, we got nowhere to sit. We're not going to be very good at driving this car. For seats, we have Pro Car by Scat. This is the Rally Smoothback. We're going to get these seats in that Camaro so we can get out in that parking lot, make lots of smoke, lots of noise, probably get arrested, but it's been 5 days and we just don't care. We're ready to get this car on the road. Let's go, guys. So the guys out there kicked ass getting the car put together. They make it done, and at the end of the day, you know, we do videos and we get stories up online and everything for all the people out there. And, it's fun. It's nice when you see something that starts off as a, you know, a pile of crap, stock car that can't get out of its own way, and at the end of the day, you're doing burnouts and, you know, it feels good and you're driving it. I wish my project got done in a week. You know, my other projects took slightly longer than that. So the wagon, which they don't know, but when we go to Holly LS Fest, they're going to get their ass kicked by a 4-door station wagon with 4 people in it. So don't tell them, because they still think they're fast.
All right, so if you remember correctly, when this car came in, it had a big old 4-inch cowl hood. It was fiberglass, kind of warped, didn't really fit the car at all. We wanted to change that out. We wanted to once go to a all steel hood, and we wanted to do a 2-inch cowl. So the guys at Golden Star Classic Auto Parts were kind enough to give us a hood. Here's the hood, it's painted. Let's see how it fits.
Good. Sounds better. Perfect. Wow.
Well, I just finished bolting the steering wheel. Got to get the horn button on, fire it up, pull it out, see what we can do.
That's the culmination of all your work. That is the icing on the cake, if you want to say. I mean, that's what you work for, and to do the burnout.
All right, so we are at the NHRA Museum. Chevy Hyatt's put on this little cruise, and we got the Week to Wicked Camaro here. And from here, second stop is going to be Holly LS Fest West, where there's a whole lot going on, from drag racing to autocrossing, a road course, off-road racing, all kinds of stuff. So follow us out there and see what we can do. All right, so we made it out to Holly LS Fest West. It's kind of windy out here.
A wee bit windy.
Yeah,
I'll say.
We're standing in front of the road course now.
Yep.
We got a couple competitions here. We got a very aggressive car that's made down and dirty, get down there on the track. And then I got a car that was made for comfort, so my butt's not as sore as Nick's, but both two really nice cars.
Absolutely.
Both can perform well. So we're gonna have a little battle, I think, between both of us, his car with him, my car with me.
And then I'm gonna jump in that car to
yeah.
see who is the better driver.
So there's that too. So we got drag racing, we got the road course. Glad you're here. Why don't we get in these cars and see what they got?
Let's have some fun.
All right. I know our autocrossing was a lot of fun. He beat me in his car, which was pretty expected considering the aggressive package he has for suspension. But I believe he hopped in the car that I built, or in the team, and I think he lost. So from car to car, I guess I'm a better driver. But I don't know. It was still all fun. all joking aside, he's a good buddy of mine, and we're just out here to have fun. The suspension package we have in here is certainly a performance package, but it's also a car that's made to drive on the street, get to the track, have fun with it, so it's the best of both worlds. You know, if you want a full-blown race car, you're not going to like to drive it on the street. It's too rigid, you're going to need a kidney belt. This car is very comfortable to drive around the streets, go over the speed bumps, and get to the track and still performs. Braking system on it's awesome, but the build itself, man, I mean, I think we did it in record time out of all the Week to Wicked we've done. Just everything clicked well, everyone meshed. I think we've got this down. So, you know, we're just a little over 4 days doing a complete car with, you know, the 5th day is, you know, doing a lot of prep. But, I mean, I don't think, I mean, with the CPP team and our team, everything just meshes well. We all communicate well. Everyone's got their skill levels, and you know, some people work good in one area and they know where to work, and then the others work in the other area, and everything just kind of meshes.